If you would have told me that McSorley and Purdy would have been in the game before kickoff, you said that, hey, at one point in time it's going to be McSorley, Purdy, I would say we got a problem. Obviously, the 49ers, or I guess both teams, are one snap away at any moment when Colt's starting for those two guys playing. But I would not have expected a blowout win. As we've talked about, like the Niners don't. All anyone's been asking for is a nice Cowboy game, a nice 40-3. And honestly, 40-3 for the Niners would be 25-10, right? Just a little breathing room. No, we weren't looking for 38-10. But if you told me Brock Purdy was playing in the game, I would have told you, holy shit, guy, is this season over? Because did Jimmy break his leg? Did he get a concussion? Like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
The Brock Purdy, my office is across the street from where I'm staying. And when I looked up and I saw Buck Mason get a handoff, and then I saw Brock Purdy in at quarterback, I said, Kyle called off the dogs with 7 minutes left in the game. It's 38-10, but still, like, this is really what we're witnessing. Kyle Shanahan putting in the backups. How often everyone listening to this, and you and I watch a ton of NFL football, you just don't see that very often in games, right?
Well, even Aikman said it tonight. He's like, you usually can't get, I think when, was it Greenlaw that hurt his wrist?
Yeah, the punch.
He's like,
I would say at first was like broken wrist. It might have just been a freak, it scared him.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. Because it looked like he shook it off and ran off.
It
right?
did. I haven't heard what Kyle said.
Scary when he went down, not going to lie, it felt broken wrist.
And then you saw the replay and you're like, yeah, that looked like a pretty violent punch.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, as someone who was at elevation the other day, albeit it was 6 degrees, both my wrists locked up on me that night. So maybe it was something related. I was not exerting quite as much, but
athlete.
but injuries. Oh, but Aikman made the point that, you just don't have a lot of play. As you've said many times when people say on Twitter, like, where are the backups? There's 46 guys available. There are 11 on one side and 11 on the other side. That's 22 plus some backups. You don't really have that many extra guys.
Yeah. I would just say to pull your quarterback in an NFL game beside like the last series with under a minute to go is pretty rare. And that was something that Kyle Shanahan does not. I mean, they're never in that position. Right?
Well, I texted you when was it the second? I don't know. I can't keep track of all the times Colt McCoy got hit in the second half, but he got hit and again was slow getting up. And it to me, that felt like it was over at that point in time. It was McSorley time. I think Colt got one more drive and then McSorley came in. But
was that Bosa that got him?
Yeah, it was Bosa that got him. It was after Bosa had the late hit. But well, I guess it wasn't Bosa that got him because Bosa got him earlier in the game. Maybe it was Fred Warner. Maybe it was Fred Warner that got him. But
I know they got smoked. I have a lot of respect for a backup quarterback named Colt McCoy. I think he's a pretty good backup, don't you?
I agree. I'm a big Colt McCoy fan. I've heard great things about him just as a guy. I watch Hard Knocks. He's impressive. Clearly, they like him. They believe in him. What's funny, I'd look back before he lit up the Niners last year, 3 or 4 weeks apart, he lit up the Seahawks. Like his high end, even though he went like a 5-year stretch barely playing any football, he's had a few, like twice a year, he's just had like 282 yards passing or something, 2 touchdowns, no picks. So that's.
Do you think most people watching this? I mean, obviously they might have heard it tonight on the broadcast. You probably did. Remember Colt McCoy is a 49er? Because I honestly did not.
Even when you heard it, you'd forgotten?
I don't know if I just erased it from my memory. Did you know if I say, has Colt McCoy ever been a 49er before this game? Would you have said yes?
I would have said yes. But if you had said name the teams that Colt played for, I would have forgotten the 49ers. Does that make sense?
You honestly remember going to like a practice?
No. Oh, no. I just remember having looked for Colt McCoy photos for a thumbnail for a YouTube video, having seen a photo of Colt as a Niner. Like looking for Colt against the Niners, and then a Colt 49er photo came
But when you say it out loud, you go, well, they traded Alex to the Chiefs, so Colin becomes the backup. And if you would ask, well, who was their backup quarterback the following year, right, in 2013? I would not. Maybe I said Gabbert. I would not have said Colt McCoy.
Like I said, the only reason I remember it is because I was looking for a Colt McCoy against the Niners photo and saw a photo of Colt McCoy.
Sneaky good evaluation by Harbaugh. Like that's a pretty solid backup quarterback even a decade ago.
Should have kept him. Should have made him the Chase Daniel of the 49ers.
Do you think they were playing some games? Keim, I think it's mainly Keim, with the media, with Hopkins. Like, he's out. And then today's like, well, he might play. Well, he's in. It's like, are we really doing that? Because I would imagine, and maybe Kyle talked about it after the game, the 49ers just practice all week like the guy was going to play. Because I think it kind of happened like that last week. I would say I got duped a little bit because I just, at this point in time, I just believe what Rap Sheet and Schefter say. It's like, oh, he's out. He's questionable. He's probably not going to play. And then today's like, well, actually, he's in. And it's a classic, like, and I don't blame him. I mean, clearly that's their best player, right?
Yeah.
Do you agree? Like, that's him and Buddha.
Yes.
He's it's why a lot of people gave Bill a lot of shit, because Bill's big deal was like, Clowney, we got it. Like, listen, you think he's kind of a shithead. He's not as good as the hype, but like, Hopkins doesn't want to practice on Wednesday. Well, I don't give a shit. He gets you 10 and 120 and a touchdown every single Sunday. Like, Clowney doesn't get you a sack every Sunday. So I get why you don't like him. But to me, Hopkins, if you watch his whole career, it feels like he brings it on game days, doesn't it? I mean,
to me, it feels it's Devontae, doesn't probably get as much love anymore as Devontae does now, right? Hopkins used to get more love back when him and the Texans were scoring a bunch of points.
Yeah, I feel like I feel he's Devontae mixed in with a little Keenan, because Keenan's so slow. Now Hopkins is faster than the version of Keenan that we saw last night, but it just doesn't matter. Like, they're just covered, but they're not covered at all. Now, I would say he's kind of sneaky. He did it a couple times a night, throw you off him, right? I mean, I wouldn't, I think wide receiver coaches would be like, that's high-level wide receiver play, right?
Yeah. I think it's another thought on the game before we get to some specifics. And I mean this, like, if I were the Cardinals, I would think it's BS. Not that I have to go play in Mexico City. Everybody's playing. Tom Brady goes to Germany or whatever. So people get sent places. But specifically to play the 49ers in Mexico City, okay, fine. That makes sense. We're making money. Let's capitalize. But for me to give up a home game to go play a team that has a massive Mexico fan base, 82% of the fans were 49ers fans, okay? Haberman and Middlekoff and Espanol coming soon. Actually, John, you can just click the little button at the bottom and get your Espanol transcriptions, closed captioning.
I mean, I'm a big believer. We haven't seriously talked about this. Go separate channel, Spanish only.
Separate channel, Spanish ham. But I think it's BS if you're the Cardinals that you give up a home game to play the 49ers in a place where everybody knows they have a humongous fan base. It's, you know what it's like? It's like the college football games that are neutral sites, like this year when Georgia and Oregon played a neutral site game in Atlanta. Be like, okay, we'll play the game, but let's not act like. But it's not a neutral site. And this being a home game for the Cardinals is they got hosed. They get hosed. They got hosed.
It wouldn't have mattered. I mean, tonight, even with Hopkins playing, this is what now 38 to was the final score 38-10.
Yeah, correct.
Like listen, that's a lot. I wouldn't ask for that much, but tonight you win by double digits. Like a Niner blowout to most of us, 10 points. You win that game 30-20, that's what you're supposed to do. 38-10, not a soul was asking for that. Ideally, they dreamed of it, but they never would have expected it. And then when you're witnessing, you're like, is this really happening? But it should happen, right? Because beside Hopkins, Buda Baker, Simmons, who's clearly kind of banged up, JJ, a lot of respect for the guy, but he's fucking old now. He's not the same ass kicker that he once was with the Houston Texans. Like, the talent differential on that field the gap was pretty wide. And it showed as the game went on.
Yeah.
I mean, Ayuk's an ass kicker. Debo's an ass kicker. Kittle's an ass kicker. Trent Williams an ass kicker. Juice an ass kicker. Both the Wards, obviously Fred, Bosa, like Niners are pretty stacked. And if we'll get into Jimmy, I'm sure later, if he's going to play like that, I mean, holy shit, the Niners are this is a potent team in the NFC, right?